Hi, my name is Delaney DeBajan, and this is my project for Annie's Global Perspective for Column 348. A little backstory before I start. Annie is someone that I met through art school stuff, and we've kept in touch, and she's been to the US, and I finally got to go over to London and see her while I was studying abroad. So that's how I know her. Annie Rademacher is a 20-year-old makeup artist who lives in a village called Hazelmere in High Wycombe, United Kingdom. It's a small village, a lot of rolling hills, a lot of houses that pretty much all look like this, and it's 30 minutes from London. So even though it's in this small little town right outside with little farms and things, it's still right near one of the most popular cities in the UK. When speaking about TV, Annie sort of made the point that TV in the UK seems to be American TV featuring British accents. What's really popular right now are reality TV shows and faux reality TV shows, and they're kind of based loosely, if not 100% off of American TV shows. For instance, Geordie Shore is Jersey Shore, but the people are from Newcastle. They look pretty much the same, they act pretty much the same, but they're from the UK. And then The Only Way is Essex is basically like The Hills, a faux reality show that's made to look like a reality show. And rather than being from California, they're from Essex. So it's two shows that have been adapted for the UK viewer off of American TV shows. One show that is very specifically British, a very UK kind of show, is Graham Norton Comedy Chat Show. And she says that everybody loves Graham Norton. Everybody watches this show. He's an Irish comedian. It's been on for 19 seasons and it's won a lot of awards. And it pretty much looks like this.
Only one man can turn Friday nights into this. I'll be back. This is the best time I've ever had on a talk show. Anything can happen. Probably will. New celebs.
So it's just a comedy show, and Annie says that in the UK, comedy is a really important part of their pop culture. British humor, kind of a drier British humor, is something that's very specifically their own, something they're proud of, something that everybody kind of relates to. So Graham Norton is a big part of that. When we were speaking about movies, Annie pointed out that a lot of movies that are popular in the UK are also popular in America, mostly because they are American movies. But a movie that is very specifically British, something that was made in the UK that people really cling to, is Love Actually, which is made in 2003. Annie says it's an essential part of a British Christmas. Everybody watches it. Her whole family sits down and watches it together in December. It's an all UK cast, and it was initially released in the UK. And while it's popular in both countries, the UK and America, it is a big part of the culture in the UK specifically. And there is a mini sequel TV special called Red Nose Day Actually, which is for the Red Nose Day Comedy Relief charity fund that goes on in the UK. And it's already been released over there, but it's going to be released over here within the next month or so. And so it was a really big deal because it was like a look back at the characters, kind of like a reunion thing that's really popular these days. When it comes to food, she pointed out that a lot of food that's gaining popularity now is Middle Eastern food because of the immigration that's been happening within the past couple of years. But something that's very quintessentially British or very UK is the Sunday roast and the English breakfast. It's synonymous within their culture. It's been popular forever and will probably remain popular. The Sunday roast is veggies, potatoes, meat, Yorkshire pudding, gravy, and sticky pudding for dessert. And then the English breakfast is breakfast meats, eggs, beans, mushrooms, tomatoes, potatoes, and fried bread, which is not toast. And what's interesting about these is that while they remain traditional in what they consist of, there's a lot of changes that are being made to sort of update it for people today. For instance, when I went to the UK, we got a Sunday roast made for vegans. So they're updating it for different diets of today while remaining pretty traditional. And she says that it's up there with the Queen, with, being British. For nostalgia, she brought up something called Eurovision, which I had to put in this presentation because it was something that is very specifically European that America doesn't have any part of. And so she called it their weirdest tradition. It's the longest running TV program slash singing contest. It's been going on since 1956. Her countries submit and vote for the best original song, and they can be pretty weird. She says that some of the submissions can be either really good because the song's really good, or they can just be really strange. But some notable winners have been ABBA and Celine Dion. So sometimes the winners go on to make a lot of money, sometimes they kind of fizzle out. But it's something that happens every year that everybody sits down and watches or hears about, and it's just something that's their own, that's been going on for forever, that we or Ada doesn't really have a part of. As far as celebrities go, Cheryl Cole and Adele are two really big ones. Cheryl Cole is known as the nation's sweetheart. She's famous almost exclusively within the UK. She kind of has a Cinderella story because she came through one of those singing talent shows with a group called Girls Aloud, and she sort of made it on her own, and people seem to really love her a lot. And Adele is one of those artists, like other celebrities that make it big in the UK. It's a small country, and when their celebrities get world recognition, they're really proud of it. They have a lot of national pride, and Adele is one of those people that they're just really proud of for everything that she's done and the kind of positive, positivity that she brings to the country. What happens in America doesn't stay in America is something that Annie and I talked about a lot, and how our culture spills over into hers with the Kardashians and supermodels and things like that. But something that was different that I didn't really think about is our politics. I think, like I said, Americans don't really think about how much our politics affects other people, other countries, and what happened in our election this year kind of went hand in hand with the Brexit that happened in her country. And so, as you can see here, like, there were protests against Trump in the UK. So it's something that affects them as much as it seems to affect us. And it's a part of their culture as it's a part of our culture too, because what happens in our country ends up reflecting in other countries as well. Something that seems to really kind of bother Annie that we misinterpret in America is when we try to get a hold of UK accents within our pop culture. And she loves to point out that there isn't just one British accent. There are 30 plus regional dialects in the UK. And over in America, when we have British people in our TV, in our shows, and in our pop culture, they usually have a very posh accent, and they're made to be really snobby, wearing the waistcoat and carrying around a teacup. And she says, there's more to a British person than just their accent, and the accent doesn't make a character British. Everyone's not this woman right here. They are people just like we are, and they have different regions, different traditions, different norms. And so when we just slap on this standard accent to a person and call them British, it really bothers her, as it would bother anybody if they did that to me. And one of the biggest differences that we have found between American pop culture and UK pop culture is the aggressiveness and the drama that the America puts in almost everything, that the UK doesn't seem to feel a need to put in everything. And the difference, we found that in cooking shows. This is from America's Chopped.
Oh no, and I realize I've left the wontons in.
The wontons.
Very dramatic music, editing. His reaction to wontons in a fryer is ridiculous. And then this is the Great British Bake Off from the UK.
You're halfway through, it's half time. Bring out the dancing girls and the orange segments. What do you mean there've been budget cuts?
Chetna has moved on to her filling.
I think that for a good lemon cut, you just need to keep stirring the whole time.
Just pouring honeycomb over my toasted lavender.
So the music is just calmer, the editing is calmer, there's humor, the woman is drinking tea. It's just really different, and that seems to be reflected in a lot of things that the UK does and that the British pop culture does that we don't. They have very self-deprecating humor, and they put humor into almost everything. It's a big part of their culture, like I said earlier. And they focus a lot on individual personalities, where they're in America, she says that everything is very fast, dramatic, in your face. It's all about looks. So it's interesting to know that that's reflected even in something as simple as cooking shows. So basically, what makes something British for Annie is a lot of the dry humor, a lot of the personalities, and even though there is a lot of adaptations between American TV, American pop culture, and British pop culture, and even though our culture spills into their culture and everything, she still thinks that they have their own pop culture. It's just something that Americans don't really see much, because we see that our pop culture is everywhere, but we don't usually see other people's pop culture. So thank you so much for watching.